In this video, I'm going to share with you what I personally do to overcome self-doubt. Now, if you've had a lot of failures in the past, or made a lot of mistakes in the past, then those previous experiences can make you doubt yourself because those previous experiences were negative. And based off those previous negative experiences, you've kind of traumatized yourself because you don't want to make those same mistakes again. And you definitely don't want to feel that failure again. So naturally, you just start to doubt yourself. But as I've said in my previous videos, making mistakes or experiencing failure doesn't have to be an end thing. It just teaches you what not to do in the future. So if you've made mistakes, if you've failed in the past, you can't cling on to that, hang on to it, because you now know what you shouldn't do. Rather than making the same mistake over and over again, you just simply learn from your mistakes, and that's how you progress. Another reason for experiencing self-doubt could be due to the fact that you've been exposed to a lot of negativity during your childhood or your current social circle. For example, if you heard a lot of things such as why something cannot be done, or why something is really, really hard and the likelihood of you actually doing it is minimal, or how people fail a lot at what you're trying to do, or how people in life just have a really difficult time trying to do things. If you've been exposed to that type of talk, negative talk, limiting kind of belief talk, because it puts limiting beliefs in your mind, if you've been exposed to that, then that's going to affect you in a negative way because it's going to become part of your belief system. So one of the things that I personally do to help myself overcome self-doubt is I try to prove myself wrong. So I accept the fact that I can't change the past because the past is the past, but I do have control over the future. So my objective is to simply try and prove myself wrong by giving myself new evidence as to why I should believe in myself, why I should have confidence in myself, why I shouldn't be experiencing this self-doubt. But the self-doubt has been built because I'm running on old evidence, old failures, old mistakes. So I'm going to simply replace them. And the way I'm going to replace them is, like I said, finding new evidence. So doing things until they do work. Trying my very best until things work out. Because the more I prove myself wrong, the more self-confidence I'm going to build. So essentially, I need more wins. Now, before we move on, my name's Luke and this channel is all about personal development. And I'll be sharing the things I've learned and continuously learn. So if you enjoy content around trying to improve yourself, overall personal development, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. The second thing I do to help myself overcome self-doubt is I'm very conscious and very aware of my surroundings, the people I'm with, and also the things that I let into my mind. So if you're around people with a pessimistic mindset, they're going to naturally see the worst of things. If you share something with them, they're going to see the bad side to it. If you share an idea with them, they're going to explain to you why it's not going to work. And their attitudes and their words will slowly start to creep into your mind and infect it. And I mean that word, infect it, because it is like an infection. Once that seed is planted in your mind of that, of pessimism, once that seed is planted, it just starts to grow and it starts to mature. And before you know it, you yourself will turn into a pessimist. The reason why I say be conscious and be very careful of what you let into your mind is because if you're constantly feeding your mind with negativity, consciously or unconsciously, but if you're doing it, you're just naturally going to become a person who experiences self-doubt. You're going to have no belief in yourself. You're going to become the product of your thoughts. I'm sure you've heard this before. The things you think about most of the time, you become. So if you're thinking about doing really well, then you most likely will do well. If you're thinking about trying to do something, then you naturally will put more effort into doing it. But if you're thinking about all the failures and all the flaws in something, then you're naturally going to turn yourself off from doing it. Or if you're constantly watching the news, that's not going to make you feel good either. Just think about it. When was the last time you watched the news and something positive was said? When was the last time you watched the news and it made you feel good? Sure, consuming the news in very small quantities can be beneficial because you now know what's going on around the world. But what I mean is, if you're constantly feeding yourself the news, you are going to become a depressed person. Another thing is, if you're involving yourself in gossip or listening to a lot of drama, that type of talk, it doesn't do anything for you. All it is about other people, and all it does is make you feel bad. Whoever feels good after they gossip? So if you're doing such things, don't be surprised if you experience self-doubt. Don't be surprised if you don't have a positive mindset, you don't have belief in yourself, because what you're putting into your mind is essentially rubbish. So the solution is, detach yourself from people who are keeping you stuck or encouraging your self-doubt, and surround yourself with people who lift you up, who encourage you, who motivate you, who make you feel good, people who believe in you. And if you don't have people around you who can lift you up or make you feel good or try to encourage you and share good messages with you, put good thoughts into your mind, then of course you do have my videos to watch. Hopefully these videos help you, they help encourage you, they help lift you up. But what I've also done is, in the video description down below, I've left a few books that you can pick up. And like I said, life is about continuously educating yourself. And I haven't read some of these books for a few years. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading some of these books. And I might even consider shooting a few videos on what I took from these books and what I'm learning from these books, because it's important, you know, re-educating yourself. With that said, if you want to know what I personally do to deal with negative people, then I actually shot a video on that exact topic, which you can watch by clicking here or here.